The Republican National Convention creeps one day closer, a time when if the GOP does not band together and fight as one, they will lose this election and Hillary Clinton will be president. It is a critical time to unify. So why then has the presumptive nominee promised but done nothing to actually bring the party together, and how worried should you be about it? There has always been a worry that ISIS would grow their roster from countries other than the Middle East. Certainly, we have seen mindless drones do their dirty work for them here in America. But the Turkey airport attack has added a new Russian dimension to the mix. And we need to come to grips with the simple fact no one, and I mean no one, has been talking about in the wake of attacks such as Turkey. There's not a single airport in the world that was built to withstand terror attacks. And it only gets worse when the people in charge of that security here in America are more interested in excuses than action. Your action and reaction, part of what we do. Seek to be one of the lucky ones to make it on air with your comments. Get in line now. 1-877-Newsmax, 1-877-639-7629. I'm Ed Berliner. This is The Hardline for Thursday, June 30th, 2016. In many ways, politics is just a microcosm of what we want in our general life. Most people want to be liked. They want to feel as if they're an important part of the everyday machine, and they want to believe that what they say and what they believe is being listened to and becomes at least a discussion point in the lives of many. Politics of this era are not that far off, and sad to say, have taken a dangerous turn for the worse. For those in power, those who want to be in power, those who seek power without having the faintest idea of what that power should be used for, they all want the same thing. They demand you like them and love them. They demand you understand that they say and what they say is more important than anything you could possibly feel, because you're little more than a lowly voter who feeds their soul. And they believe everything they say is critical to your life and that of their city, state, and national government. Hey, it's a good deal of ego, hubris, and a reality many of us would rather not actually admit exists. Let's put this into perspective. There are men and women of power in the Republican Party, and they are at the moment being called to do everything they can to bring their party together in time for their presidential nominating convention, or face a good share of blame for what might happen come November. But these are people of power, either real or imagined, and their response is simple. The guy in charge needs to kiss my ring a little first before I give him what he wants. Get it? Listen up. Tune up. Get on the phone lines right now. 1-877-Newsmax. 1-877-639-7629, where only the best and brightest comments make it on air, so have an opinion and stay on point. Let's begin by welcoming back the veteran political commentator, the son of President Ronald Reagan, and author of the insightful book, Lessons My Father Taught Me, The Strength, Integrity, and Faith of Ronald Reagan. Michael Reagan joins us. Michael, good to see you again. Let's go ahead and start off here with Donald Trump. Gee, what a shock, starting off with the presumptive Republican nominee. And this is where we begin. Donald Trump says that every single nominee that he beat during the nominating process and the primaries have a legal obligation to support him for president, and they better get in line. Here's what he said.
When you sign a pledge, and this isn't a pledge that says subject to my changing my mind, this is a pledge that really, I even think it's like legally binding. You want to know the truth. They signed a pledge saying they will abide, saying they will back the candidate of the party. And now they sit back and the pledge is out there and the press doesn't even go after them on that. They've broke their word. In my opinion, they should never be allowed to run for public office again, because what they did is disgraceful.
Okay, Michael, let's dig in. Two things to start this. First of all, Donald Trump is also an individual who broke his pledge, where he said at one time back in March that he would no longer support the Republican nominee. So he did the same thing that he's blaming the others for. But here's the bigger issue. How do you unify the party? People say that Donald Trump's got to do it, must unify the party. How do you do it while at the same time you're antagonizing the people that you need to unify?
Well, you don't. You can't bring people together when you are antagonizing these people, going after them, going after parts of the Republican Party. And what have you. He's got to bring the party together. It's about him reaching out and bringing the party together. And by the way, I think he aimed a little high with kissing the ring. And he's got to do some big kissing to bring people together at the convention and to walk out of the convention as a unified party. He is the only one who can in fact do it.
But is it not fair to say that in many ways, and you know politics better than I do, better than most people here, that that's really what the people in the Republican Party want at this point, the people who don't back him? They want to see some substantive answers, they want to see some issues, but at the same time, they want to put the ring out there a little bit, and they want to bring Donald Trump to kowtow just a little bit.
Yeah, they certainly do. And he's got to reach out. He's got to kiss that ring of the electorate out there within his own party. He can't every other day attack his own party, which he seems to be more able to do sometimes than attacking Hillary Clinton, the presumptive nominee of the Democrat Party, who in fact he's going to be running against for the November election. He's not running against the Republican Party in November. He's running for the presidency of the United States of America. And he's got to bring the party together. And then he's got to find a way to reach outside the Republican Party and bring independents and bring Democrats and others to the party in order to win the election in November.
Well, what about those people, Michael? And I guarantee you there's viewers right now who are saying, Michael Reagan, you are wrong. Donald Trump is not the guy who needs to reach out right now. It is the Republican National Committee. It is all of these politicians. They are the ones that need to get behind him because he is going to be the nominee and you can't stop it. So you're the ones that have to get in line.
Yeah, and if you look at the polls, forget the polls having to do with Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. You have to look at the polls of the members of Congress, the members of the Senate of the United States who are running for re-election. And the Republican Party's duty also is to them in order to get them reelected so the Republicans win back control of the Senate, win back control of the House of Representatives. And right now, they're worried about the down lane ticket, or the down part of the ticket, getting reelected and taking control of the House. It's going to do no good if you have Donald Trump at the top, Democrats running the House and running the Senate. They need to concentrate on making sure the House and the Senate also get elected.
So do you think then, personally, that there are those out there, high-ranking members of the Republican Party right now, who won't come out and say it in public, but have said privately and said to themselves, look, I'm not going to back Donald Trump. I know we're going to lose the presidency. I know Hillary Clinton, and bite my tongue, is going to be president. But the only thing that I can do is make sure that the House and the Senate, the Congress, is under Republican control. I'll go ahead, I'll bite the bullet, and I'll wait 4 years and make sure that we can get it back. Any doubt that they're saying that to themselves right now?
Oh, I think there's a lot of people saying that themselves right now. I see people already aligning themselves and getting ready for 2020 at this point in time because they're concerned about it being a bloodbath come November 8th when we have our national election. And again, it's going to be up to Donald Trump to have a message that is going to cross party lines. What you have is Donald Trump right now is playing to the base. He hasn't stopped playing to the base. I love the base. The base is good. Get your nomination. But the base will not elect you President of the United States of America. It will elect you to go back and have a television show called You're Fired.
All right, let's get on to a couple of interesting things here as well. According to MSNBC, they claim to have procured a draft rule. Delegates circulating the first proposed rule for this year's convention, and they say they have the document that would effectively lock in Donald Trump as the nominee and kill all of the Stop Trump, Never Trump movement once and for all. If indeed this sort of a document is passed, do you think that's it? Done. Never Trump is over. Let's move on.
Donald Trump is going to get the nomination of the party. The Republican Party you may not like, or people listening may not like, but they're not stupid. They're not going to find a way to get rid of Donald Trump at the convention and have a riot on their hands at the convention. They'll let it play out. Donald Trump will win or he will lose the election of the United States. What I'm worried about and concerned about now is it seems the Trump supporters are already trying to find a group to blame or someone to blame if, in fact, he loses. And if Donald Trump loses, it's on his head. It's not on anybody else's head. It's on him because he didn't have a message beyond a message to the base.
Let's go ahead and talk about that blame for a second here. Mitt Romney talking about the dilemma that he's been pushed in right now on not being able to support either major party candidate. He made this at the Aspen Ideas Festival. Here's what he said.
For me, it's a matter of personal conscience, and I can't vote for either one of those two people. Hillary Clinton is wrong on every issue, but she's wrong within the normal parameters. But I disagree with her on so many things I can't possibly vote for. And at the same time, as I've expressed about Mr. Trump, I believe on the basis of temperament and character that those are areas where I feel I simply can't vote for him. And so on that basis, I'm going to be voting. I'll either write in my wife's name, who'd be an ideal president, or I'll write in the name of a third party candidate.
Michael, is it that simple? Mitt Romney, George Bush, Paul Ryan, everybody else. If Donald Trump does not win this presidency, it's your fault. You're the ones who did it, and people are going to punish them for it. Regardless of whose fault it is, they're going to blame them.
But remember, that statement that was made by Mitt Romney, and he made a few before also, was made after Donald Trump went after the judge on the Trump school program. And everybody thought and believed it was absolutely a racist comment that he made. And so you have a Republican Party who's doing the best it can to reach out to Hispanics and others who, in fact, now had someone running for the presidency that made what's considered a very racist statement about the judge. And so they're trying to paint themselves out of that corner, not into that corner as they go into a general election. Again, it's about the down ticket and electing members of the House and members of the Senate.
All right, I got about 60 seconds left here, so let's get into this here. Reports coming out that Donald Trump is vetting Christie to be his vice president, and that Christie was the one who actually got Corey Lewandowski fired, so maybe Donald Trump is listening to him. Two-part question. A, do you personally believe the reports? B, do you think Christie might be the guy to actually help Donald Trump, or is he just as damaged?
Let me tell you, people vote for the top of the ticket. Nobody votes for the bottom of the ticket hoping the top of the ticket gets assassinated. That's not the way it works. You have to find someone who is going to work with the president. I happen to believe he'd be better off with a John Kasich. He'd be better off with a Newt Gingrich. He's going to need somebody who knows how to work with the Congress of the United States of America. Christie knows how to deal with his own state, but he may not know how to really work with the members of Congress if, in fact, Donald Trump gets elected.
So 15 seconds then. You talked about somebody who knows how to work with the Congress. Who then, in your opinion, would be that best person?
That's what I'm saying. I think it'd be a Newt Gingrich or a John Kasich. I mean, John Kasich was the last man to absolutely balance a budget, did it under my father. You had Newt Gingrich, who changed the dynamic of the Republican Party as they won an election for the first time in 40 years and took over the House of Representatives. Two great minds, two great leaders. Both of them would help the ticket in that way. You wouldn't vote for him because of it, but he'll need him.
Shame on you, young man, for making sense. We're going to have to talk to you about that one day. The book, again, is Lessons My Father Taught Me, The Strength, Integrity, and Faith of Ronald Reagan. Michael Reagan, it's always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks so much for joining us. We're still going to get to your phone calls this hour. Hang tight because the hard line continues.